Oh, and speaking of cakes.
No one's speaking. We just
Taryne
started.
ruined mine.
Why would you start speaking of cakes when no one's talking?
Because I want to talk about it. Guys. Oh, dear. Guys. I have a I should give them a backstory. I should tell them exactly what went down.
Or we should just not talk
Taryne and I
about
were at a
this.
yacht party this weekend. Our very close friends / a sister of mine, only sister of mine, had a party on a boat, which it was a big deal. If you haven't listened to them before, I'm sure you guys have, but Pretty Basic is my sister's podcast, and they just hit 1 year, and they had a 1-year anniversary party on a yacht.
Cute.
Like all of us do, you know.
Are we going to have a yacht party?
Do not expect a yacht party. I'm not fronting money for that. We can't do that. Not yet. Not yet.
We'll start a GoFundMe.
So, like, to celebrate them and all that they have accomplished within this year, the group of friends that all were invited decided to pitch in to get this cake. And guys, we found this amazing girl. She's so talented. Her Instagram handle is Betchin Cake, and she is so talented. She uses Barbies as like the characters for whoever's birthday it is. She dresses them up just like that person, and then like completely explodes on the cake. Like anything they're interested in gets thrown on the cake. There's glitter, it's hot pink, it's whatever. So we get the absolute most perfect cake, and I'm it was worth every penny, but it was expensive.
Yeah.
Should I drop a number?
Yeah.
Just for like the benefit of the story to really like add to the punchline. I understand it was excessive, but granted, this was split by like a huge group of people. This was a $220 cake. And it was big and it was beautiful, and we were so excited about it. And Taryne sat on it. She sat on it.
I'm so embarrassed. I can't look at the camera.
Her face is bright red. She sat on my $220 cake. I took so much time and effort preparing that, being creative with her. We swapped emails.
I'm just picturing everyone listening being like, wait, I'm sorry, what? In my defense, someone put it on the bench.
Yeah. So backstory. The good thing is, on the upside, we had all partaken. We've all had the cake by now.
The pictures were taken, videos were taken. Yeah. Everyone had a piece.
And someone, we're not entirely sure who, took the cake and left it on a bench. And again, we're on a boat, so there's waves. So it's not stable ground that we're standing on. Taryne is standing literally right next to the cake on the bench and just loses her balance, I guess. Did not see the ginormous bright pink cake sitting on the brown leather bench and just completely just backside into the cake.
No,
and
I
RIP to that beautiful work of art.
Then slid. So the cake literally covered the entire back of my entire body.
And I spent the rest of the evening wiping her down. Hello, guys, and welcome back to Unsolicited Advice. I am Ashley.
And I'm Taryne.
And for anyone who's just now listening, they probably think I'm your mother because I had to sit down and wipe you. The frosting, it was on her shirt,
it was
her flannel, and her jeans.
It was everywhere.
And then the second she stood up, it started falling on the floor, and all of us were like, no, trying to pick it up.
Like,
it was so bad.
You guys, if you listen to us, you know, basically that was a tearing it up in real life.
That was a tearing it up in real life. Oh my God.
But like, I do so many things, and I really pride myself on the fact that like I've become immune to it. Like I don't get embarrassed.
Your face just got red.
Dude, that got me.
Yeah.
And then like everyone's like taking pictures and around, and then all I'm thinking in my mind is $220. Like, I got so overwhelmed, and then it's just not something you want written on your gravestone.
You don't want it, but I mean,
on cake.
100%. We were there too. Like the takeaway from the entire trip was, congratulations. Pretty Basic has been around for a year. They hit 30 million downloads. Also, Taryne sat in the cake. Like that was just
That's the only thing
the summary of this
away.
Weekend. It was so good.
God,
but
I'm
like
crying.
you can't blame people. The second you stood up and turned around, I immediately went and reached for my phone because it was the funniest thing. You guys, you're welcome. I have a proof it for you. I have photos of Taryne.
This is the most like unflattering.
I have
photo
photos
of
of all the frosting, and I have photos of the poor cake.
We should definitely post pictures of the cake. 'Cause
Yeah.
the cake is beautiful.
Yeah, if you don't follow us on Instagram or Twitter or anything,
man.
you really should, especially for this proof it, because it will give you. Oh my God, it's gonna bring so much joy.
I murdered a cake.
It's gonna bring so much joy. Yeah, it was a very bougie cake.
Yeah, I
Poor
found
thing.
crumbs and frosting like everywhere the next morning. I was like, oh man.
And Taryne kept trying to help like pick it up, but every time she moved, more frosting would fall, and I would just be like,
It was a bad moment.
God, Karen,
Just hold still.
hold still.
Ash went into full Nancy. I
went into
full Karen.
Nancy mode because I mean it's obviously not our yacht, so I just immediately start like picking up,
Cleaning.
rubbing it off the carpet.
Oh, gosh, yeah, that one got me.
Oh, so good. Hello,
So,
guys.
welcome to the podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. I realized that took a moment, but I just had to share that story.
I get
that
it. Like,
gem of
I
a
would want
memory
it.
that we
Yeah.
had this weekend.
Oh dear God.
And what was great was like the people that we were with aren't the type to like get mad. They're the type to grab the camera and pose for photos with Taryne.
Well, it's the type of thing like you don't expect. Like you don't expect to go to a birthday party and like, oops, so what's that on the cake?
And it wasn't even like salvageable in any way. Like,
No, I slid down the cake.
Nothing
There was
left.
nothing.
There was nothing left.
It was gone.
Anyways, that's our
Anyways,
shout out
that's
to Brittany,
embarrassing.
the cake queen. And we just had
She
so
needs
much
to
fun.
make me a cake of me
You
sitting
sliding
on
down
a
the
cake.
cake.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it would be a cake, and then the middle would just be smeared, and the
dang,
Barbie
yeah.
would be sitting there, like legs up, arms up, just. I love this. I can't wait for your birthday.
I
When
realized.
do we do this? I need to think of something else.
Yeah.
To give you a cake for.
I wanted to be surprised.
Just because.
It's funny because I love going on boats, but I've realized like I just I'm not like stable enough on solid ground. So then you add movement. I have bruises covering my entire body.
You probably
like,
were just running into
I
everything.
fell. I ran into things. The waves started going. I was like
couple
bouncing
people
around.
Fell. It was slippery.
Yeah.
So like that. I mean that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah. So
no one else
in
fell
my
on the cake.
oh God. It's just
every time I
you
say it, I've been very mean because I keep bringing it up, but it's because it's so funny.
Yeah, I
it's
get
so
it.
funny, and Taryne's reaction each time is like a very sad look down.
Like it actually got
Like,
me.
she looks
like,
shameful.
It got me. Yeah, I
She'll
am
just
very
look down
ashamed.
and not say a word, and it's so funny. That's why I keep doing it.
Oh,
But
God.
I love
R.I.P.
you. That was a great
So sorry.
moment.
Is Mark laughing? I can't see.
I can't
Was he
see his
laughing?
face either.
He
He
said
gives a
yes.
thumbs up. That means he's
God.
enjoying it as well.
Well, welcome to this episode. I'm Taryne, and I'm humiliated, but it's fine. We're gonna keep moving forward. I had a
let's do that.
couple DMs to share.
Oh, amazing. DM time. We need a proper name for this.
I feel like it's like our fan faves.
Fan faves? I feel like it's like Blue's Clues, like, here's the mail, it never fails kind of time.
Makes me wanna.
I
wag
want
my
like
tail.
a short little sing-along
I'll write a song.
for every time we start opening up your guys'
Okay.
messages. It's so fun.
Let's do it.
Or at
I'll
least a
think about
catchy
it.
name.
I'll think about both. Or if you guys want to suggest stuff, you know where to hit
Oh
us
my
up.
God, do it.
Yeah. So last week, I believe, wasn't it last week that Taryne it up where she flung underwear across
Yes.
the yeah.
I believe so.
So Sarah, I think it's Heaney, wrote and said, "Oh my gosh, listening to today's podcast and the same underwear situation happened to my older sister.
What?
She walked into class one day and there was underwear that had gotten stuck in her pant leg. It fell out on the floor as she was walking. She, of course, tried to ignore it and pretend it wasn't hers. Problem was, our mom put our initials in all of our underwear. So everyone knew it was hers.
Oh, honey.
I could totally picture going home and being like, Mom, like,
Yeah.
this is why.
Who does that? But
Yeah.
like, it makes sense if you have
Yeah.
a bunch of siblings. But
Oh my God, yeah.
dang, that sucks because you're just like, I don't know who
It's
that
not
is.
mine.
That's
It's someone
not mine.
else with T.
With a T.
Did you have any to share
I
too? I don't
do.
want to like hog. We can
I
ping pong.
do. No,
Okay.
I have one. This is from Jackson. And he just gave us just a cute message that I wanted to share. And he just put, love this podcast so much. 5% male listening squad over here.
Wait, can I see his username or his thing?
Jackson.
I love him.
He's very sweet.
yes.
I liked him a
DM'd
lot.
me a couple times. I really like him.
Yeah. So thank you, Jackson. We love you too. And hello, 5% male squad out there.
5% male. What if our future husbands are listening?
I just got stressed. I just shut
immediately
down and
got
I don't
stressed.
talk anymore. Like I'm just like, ugh.
We love to like be like, oh, we're single. We want men. And then when they come around, we're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Who are you? Okay, this is from Morocco Hair XOXO, I think. She says, I absolutely love you guys. It's so unfortunate that I didn't come across your podcast before. I've been listening to crime podcasts for the past 3 years, and although I love it, I have become super paranoid about everything.
Whoa, same.
Dude, literally so relatable. If I see a car drive by me twice, I have to take their license plate number just in case. Anyway, I realized I needed a break from crime, so I was browsing, saw your guys' podcast. I was hooked after listening to the Halloween series. And she was like, I was supposed to be taking a break from crime.
I was going to say, in my head before you even said that, I was like, I bet she came in during Halloween.
Oh, totally. Yeah. She's like, but no, I don't care because you guys are so fun to listen to. So that was like on Monday. Now it's Thursday and I've finished all the Halloween series and I've listened to 3 other episodes. Listening to you guys has become part of my morning routine and my go-to for my drives. I love you guys.
I love that.
I love newbies.
I know. She said she's bummed that she just now found us, but isn't it
No,
so
I love
fun when
it.
you have so much to listen to?
Yeah, I
love
miss that.
that.
Like I caught up on Crime Junkie and now it's like, it sucks that I have to wait every Monday.
Yeah.
Which is such an honor. Like when people tell us like, oh, I don't want to wait till Monday. I'm like, wow.
That's
'cause
dedication.
I only feel like that to like the podcasts I'm super invested in.
Right.
So that means a lot, guys.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Means
I
so
remember
much.
just anytime, it's like that with like a Netflix show too.
Oh, true. Yeah,
anytime you find something new and you're like, oh my God, there's 50 episodes or there's like 3 seasons or you know, you have a brand new podcast that's been out for a couple of years.
Yeah.
You have so much content to listen to. It makes me so happy because you get so invested in it and it really does become a part of your daily life.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
And then if you really do binge it that hard, then I don't know about you guys, but I kind of compartmentalize my life by
Based
that.
on it.
Because like
Yeah.
I'll remember when I remember when I first started Game of Thrones, I started during season 2, so I had all of season 1 to watch and all of season 2.
Yeah,
And I remember being so invested in it and then having to wait each
Yeah.
year for it to come out. Like that was, you know, but like having those 2 years, all I did was sit on the couch
Yeah.
and watch TV.
No, it's like unhealthy. That's how I was. I remember when Twilight came out and some of my like girls from my small group were like trying to convince me to read it. And so I was like, fine. Once I started, it was so unhealthy. Like I was in dorms in college and I would not leave. Like I was in there all the time. The guy I was dating at the time was like, he would literally call me and be like, I haven't seen you for 2 days. And I'd be like, you're nothing like Edward. I'm like, I hate you. But yeah, it was
so
like
good.
super unhealthy. Like
No,
I
yeah.
get sucked into it.
Yeah, that's like the beauty and the bad
Yeah. Oh,
of
totally.
it, because you can just like completely get lost in this beautiful, in like a fun story or a fantasy or something like that. And then it's real life. I mean, it's all about balance.
And then there's real life.
It's all about balance, but I
Yeah.
love getting lost in
Oh, totally.
in a show or a book or something like that for a long time.
Totally. Did you have another one? Or
No,
do you want
I
me
only
to-
brought the one today.
Okay, I have like a little mini.
Oh, give it
Advice
to me. Give
then.
it to me.
So this is from a guy. I
Hello
don't.
again, 5%.
Yeah, I know.
Male
Freaking
listeners.
stepping up this week.
They really are.
I don't know how you would say M3 does or something like that. He said, hey girls, I've got a question for you. I started dating and I'm keeping my options open. What's that
Love
like to
that.
have options?
Love that for you.
Interesting. So I've gone out on dates with multiple people. My question is, how do you tell a person you're not interested anymore? I knew this was going to trigger you. He says, do you just ghost them?
Absolutely not.
The answer is no.
Absolutely not.
No ghosting.
I don't want to say this in like a rude way. I understand the desire to ghost.
Ghosting is the easiest way to get out of stuff.
I get it. I've wanted to do it.
I totally get it.
I've wanted to do it. I did it once.
Yeah,
and I remember feeling terrible for it. But I really don't think that's the answer. I think the reason we're like that is because of social media on, the interweb and having that lack of connection, that face-to-face thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think.
Is your stomach growling? Was that my stomach?
I did not hear a thing. I was focusing on what I was going to say, though.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if my body just made like a noise I wasn't aware of. Sorry. Continue.
I was about to enlighten.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
It was great. Okay.
Ghosting.
Yeah. Don't do it.
In society, you don't know if it's because society we're like removed. You were saying that.
Yeah. Just don't do it. Sorry. Taryne threw me off.
Well, it's funny because like in person, right? Like I'm thinking about even when we were like young and we would like, you'd walk up or talk to a guy you liked and like, it's not socially acceptable for them to just literally look at you, speak, and walk away without saying anything.
Right.
But that's what, with hiding behind a phone, it's easy to just be like, oops, didn't see that.
Yeah, and I do want to say, I think there is a difference between like, if you're talking to someone online and you've maybe shared a couple sentences back and forth, and you don't answer, I wouldn't consider that ghosting. Yeah. You weren't having a real conversation. But if you are talking to someone and you've had more than one interaction online or even in person or whatever, then they deserve to be it doesn't even have to be a huge explanation. Just be like, hey, I'm really not looking for a relationship right now. It was great talking to you. It doesn't have to be personal. It doesn't have to be rude, but at least let them know not to expect anything from you. Because then it's not that you're ending things with them. It's that they're going to be sitting there wondering when you're going to reach out and if they did something wrong.
And especially girls, we have this ability to like hang on to like the tiniest sliver of hope.
Yeah.
I'm sure guys are like that too when they're like super into a girl or whoever you're into anyways. But like I think that the thing is, and that's where it's interesting because ghosting, like you're saying, like I think just like not responding after a couple things is not necessarily ghosting. I think when it's like they're keep trying to like reach out to you and you're ignoring multiple times, then it's like it's just not necessary. And I think like Ash said, just a simple response of like, hey, like I'm like all about being upfront and like I don't want to waste your time. Like I don't see this like going anywhere, but like, and I respect you enough to not waste your time kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's gonna sting for a second, but like Winston says, it's like rubbing alcohol. Stings you in the now, saves you in the later.
Yeah. New Girl references. If you guys don't watch it, you really should.
You should.
Yeah, definitely tell them.
Yeah, you totally should.
In the nicest, chillest way.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a big deal.
Short, simple.
Proud of you.
Yeah.
Way to step up.
Way to step up. So yeah, well, thanks guys. I hope you guys know, like we love all the DMs. We love, you know what I really miss? I feel like we haven't been getting as many like fan edits.
I know. And I feel like they come in waves. We'll go. I feel like we had a lot for Halloween, and then it just fell off a cliff. We haven't had any for a while. So
I love seeing how creative people get, where they'll like do weird stuff with like outlines or like I mean, obviously my favorite are the like super cheesy like putting our face on stuff. Like those are my absolute favorite. Face on a pizza.
So good.
Which
it was all the pepperonis.
Unsolicited advice update, right?
I don't remember.
Oh gosh, don't kill me if I said that wrong. But yeah, no, I just love like the creativity that comes. So step it up, guys.
So good. Please, we need more edits.
More edits. Let's take a short break and then I'll go first.
I think
yours is a little
mine's
lengthy.
Long, guys. I'm very excited for it, but it's long. So
okay. Yeah, I'll do it. So my title I have is Legless and Prom Dateless.
Prom Dateless. All right. Legless.
Legless and Prom
and
Dateless.
Prom Dateless. Does that have something to do with her dress?
I don't know. We'll see.
Oh,
We'll see.
Geez. Oh, geez.
We'll be back right after this break.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Today's episode is sponsored by Rothy's, and you guys know how big of a Rothy's fan I am. I'm actually
Big
wearing a pair
fan.
right now.
Oh my gosh, she is. It's true.
I think let me think now, maybe 5 pairs now.
Yeah.
I just got a brand new pair. These are the new wool ones. And they're still made from plastic water bottles and still machine washable.
I don't get it.
How do you do that?
I don't get it.
I met with, there was like a group of people. There was like, wow, I said that weird. I went to a pop-up that they had.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of them there. And they told me that there were these new wool ones. And I was like, oh, so you can't wash them now? And they were like, no, you can still wash them. I said, how can you wash wool?
My brain.
How do you do this? And they have this special formula with the wool and the recycled plastic water bottles where you can still wash it. I love them. I got a new leopard print. I'm a big fan of them.
Big fan.
Big fan.
And just so you guys know, who is Rothy's? Well, they are a company that makes stylish and comfortable shoes that literally go with everything. There are so many colors, prints, patterns, and then also different styles like sneakers, loafers, points, and more.
I want loafers.
I
That's
do
my
want
next
loafers too. That would be super cute. And like Ash said, they're made out of plastic water bottles, and this is crazy. By making shoes from repurposed water bottles, they have diverted over 35 million water bottles from landfills. 35 million.
Oh my God, guys.
They're saving the planet.
Guys, you can
the
save
literal
the planet too. Buy a pair of shoes.
I know. And one of the things that's super cool is they have a 0 break-in period, so you don't have to worry about like blisters and
true.
like, oh, if I wear these shoes for 2 weeks, maybe they'll be comfortable. It's like you put them on and there you go. And also free shipping, free returns, and exchanges.
Oh.
They literally do it
You
all.
have no reason not to get these.
No reason.
Guys, go to rothys.com. That's rothys.com/advice, ADVICE, to get your new favorite flats in time for the holiday. The holidays?
The holidays.
The holiday. You know what?
We're Australian. The
I feel like we should
holidays.
just say the holidays. Comfort, style, and sustainability. These are the shoes that you have been waiting for.
So head to rothys.com/advice today for the holidays.
The holidays.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into my story.
Yes, please.
Oh, I did not. Oh, yes. Okay, I can use her name, she said. So she says, hey, Ashley and Taryne. I first want to start off by saying that I love your podcast. I'm currently binging. She's like, is that how you spell it? I don't even know if there's a right. Binging?
BINGE.
ING.
Binge.
But you know how some, like, you drop the E, add the ING?
I think
don't
you
know
would
which.
drop the E, add the ing.
I support
Ing.
both ways.
Yeah, okay.
The whole thing, she's binging the whole thing while at work every day, and I love it. I wanted to share my story in hopes that it would help somebody, primarily high school kids.
Ooh.
And so this story, it's not even as much as she's like asking for advice, which is usually obviously the ones that we read.
Right.
But I just think she has such a cool outlook about how cruel high school can be, and then also like how you can choose to like turn it around.
Ooh,
so
love that.
I fell in love with this girl. Her name's Alyssa.
Oh, hi, Alyssa.
She just, you're gonna see. I'll just read. I remember I thought high school was everything, and once I left and went to college, I realized it wasn't, and that I'd never see anyone from there again, which is why I can share this story and laugh at it a little.
I remember having the same realization.
Literally,
I was like,
remember the morning.
I'm never going to see them again.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the next morning, I was like, I have no reason to reach out to like half of those people.
And it's crazy because I remember my dad specifically, even though multiple adults at that time told me this, my dad specifically was like, towards the end of my senior year, was like, hey, like, enjoy these moments. You won't see them again. And I was like, yeah, right.
It's so morbid.
Because I just spent like 4
little.
years with them. I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine life without them. And then I remember waking up like 2 weeks later after graduation and realizing I actually was not going to see them
Yeah,
again. And I
it's a
did it.
trip.
Like, There's
Like,
one
where are
friend.
they
There's
all?
one friend that I keep in contact with, and that's it.
It makes you realize how big the world is, because I went to high school with like hundreds of people.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know what most of them are doing.
Yeah, life's weird like that. Anyways, tangent, but wow.
Yeah, that is a tangent. Okay. To preface the story, I wear a prosthetic on my right leg. I have a rare condition called, I should have like looked up how to say this. I'm going to try. Paraxial tibial hemimelia.
All right.
I don't know.
Tibial's right.
Yeah. AKA my tibia didn't grow and I had to have my leg amputated when I came to the U.S. when I was 4. She was adopted from the Ukraine.
Oh, wow.
It was my senior year of high school and prom was just around the corner. I was actually nominated for prom queen. She's put whoop whoop. Hey.
Yeah, you were.
Hey, girl. And was stoked to go, but hadn't been asked yet. I'm an 8, the challenger, which I was like, I can relate because that's my like what I go to. Honestly, more often than you would think. On the Enneagram, which means I'm very assertive, headstrong, and confident, which I am. Realizing that no one was going to ask me, I decided to ask a boy in my physics class. We'll call him Trevor.
Good for her.
Right?
Oh,
Love
my
that.
God.
I'm trying to think of like me in high school. I was even asking a guy to Sadie's, which is like what you're supposed to do. I was so scared all the time. And I had like the worst luck every time I asked someone. Anyways, I already read that. I got donuts that spelled out prom, and I thought it was super cute. He said yes, but it didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to. I kept asking him what his plans were for prom so we could go together, and he kept saying he didn't know. I tried to make plans with him, but he just kind of blew me off. Prom day, he came over to my house for some pictures. But he didn't come with me to the group pictures or to dinner or to the actual prom. We literally just took some pictures in front of my house and then went our separate ways to our own groups to do everything else. I'm pretty sure that's not how it's supposed to go.
Oh.
Like, no. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate him. I don't hate. Hate's a strong word.
We're upset.
We are upset. Me and my group of friends get to the prom and I tried to go find my date in quotations. And he's dancing, so I go over and dance next to him. Like, I wish I could have had like an inch of that confidence in high school. Like, if a guy would have ditched me, I would have cried and stayed home and like, you know what I mean? But I love that she's like,
whole jar of chocolate frosting.
cookie butter. But she's like, no, I'm going to go with my friends then. Like, she goes to her group pictures, which means everybody's there with their date. Like, I love how strong she is in this. So she goes and she starts dancing next to him. The whole time he just kept his back to me, wouldn't even acknowledge me. Trevor's about to get, yeah. I finally was like, F you, and went to go dance with my friends. The rest of the night was actually really awesome, even though I didn't win prom queen. She put #rigged. And we all ended up at a friend's house afterwards and just hung out. It was awesome. After it all, I was kind of crushed and embarrassed. Was I ever going to find someone who was interested in me? Was it because of the leg? Was I too headstrong? Probably all of the above, let's be real. But I personally know so many disabled people that have been overlooked or disregarded because we're different, and it's not okay. We're human too. Whether that factored into him not wanting to associate with me, I'll never know, but it does feel like that sometimes. Fast forward to now, I'm 22 years old and I've done quite a bit since high school. I competed in an international volleyball competition in Brazil, and we got silver. I'm on my way to getting my bachelor's degree after taking a break from college, and I'm a para dressage rider working towards the 2024 Paralympics. I also have been dating this awesome guy for well over a year now. He used to be my boss, #no shame, who supports my dreams and treats me like a queen. I'm hoping by March he'll put a ring on it.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm like her biggest fan right now. Anyways, I know this was a long story, but the whole point of it is to remind everyone that life gets so much better after high school. I know when you're going through it, it's hard to see that. The world is such a huge place, and high school is just a little blip in the grand scheme of things, and things will get better. Thanks for letting me share my story and for sharing other people's as well. I know they've helped me a lot. All my love, Alyssa.
Oh my God.
I love her.
That was such a beautiful story.
Do you want to see a picture?
Oh my God. She's
And I need to I'm going to message her to see if I can post it because I would love to because she's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I think her prosthetic leg, it looks like it's like Iron Man's like.
Shut
yeah,
up.
I'm sorry. This is such a bad quality.
As if I didn't like her enough already.
I know.
Oh my God. It does look like
cute?
Iron Man's leg.
I love her. She's
Wait,
with the horse.
she's hot. What
I know.
the hell?
I know.
So is that what she meant? What did she rides horses?
So yeah, dressage is like horse competitions. I always get confused what it is. I feel like dressage is the more
where they
like
gallop?
tricks type thing.
Yeah, okay.
But I could be wrong.
Oh my God,
But
good
like she's
for
freaking
her.
on her way to the Olympics, and freaking Trevor's probably like.
Trevor's gonna watch you at the Olympics and be like, "Damn,
Yeah.
I messed up."
Yeah,
Freaking
Trevor's
Trevor.
gonna be scooping up the poop
Trevor.
behind your horse. Imagine.
Oh my
It'd
God,
be like a movie moment.
Oh my God. I mean, man, high school just sucks. Listening to that whole thing just kind of like brought me back to high school, and yeah, it was not the best. And I feel like there were multiple instances where I got like shut down, and I wish I feel like you worded it perfectly. I wish I was as confident and like swept it off like she did, because it held me down for like a long time, and I didn't know how to bounce back up. But like it's just like she said, I feel like the majority of the emails we get are from a lot of high schoolers. We do get a lot of high school emails, and all I want to do when I'm reading them is just be like, "Oh, honey, it's gonna be fine."
Yeah,
that's all I want to say.
Which people used to say to us when we were that
and
age, and I used to be like,
"You don't know
so
me.
Annoying.
You don't know what I'm going through.
My life is
you don't know my
ending."
pain."
Yeah.
You know, I'd be so upset because that's what everyone would always say. But the truth is, it's a micro moment in your life, which is so much huger. And you'll never see them again, most likely. And if you're gonna let them hold you down, then that's kind of like not on you, but you need to
have the power to
realize
change
that
it.
if it doesn't, you can't stop people from doing things. Obviously, people are humans and they're gonna do what they do. But you can turn around how you think about it and how you let it get a hold of you, just like she did.
Yeah,
and I love that. I wish I did
love
that
too.
Jeez.
It's just it's high school is just it's a beast. Like there's all of the pressure is based on impressing people, what group you're in, what you're wearing, what you do.
Stupid.
And then you add on top of it like the pressures that come with like even like athletics or academics, like even more now it's like you have to have your whole future figured out by the time you're like a junior. You know what I mean?
No.
So it's
fully.
just a lot, and it is so sad, and it's one thing that I just never will understand, like how people can treat others the way that they do. Like I just will never get it. And I think, luckily I didn't get like intensely bullied, but I did have a couple incidents where like I had crooked teeth and there was like a group of girls that didn't like me, and so they started, it was when MySpace was out, and they started posting like all over everywhere like a zoomed in picture of my teeth and being like, "Oh, it's the girl with the effed up teeth," like just really mean stuff. And I remember like sitting at home and seeing it and just crying and being like so heartbroken. And it just like, I don't know what we have to do to like change it, and I don't know like what makes people think that they're better than anyone else. And especially you tie into the fact like how she's talking about like how people who have, a physical disability or any type of disability, how they can sometimes be pushed aside or not seen as equal. And it's just disgusting. Like it's
not
horrible.
Fair. No, it's not fair. I think it doesn't answer for anything, but I do think there's truth to that whole phrase, like hurting people hurt people.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the best way that any of us can go about life is when that kind of stuff happens and there's just these extremely cruel people in the world. It just makes me think like, honestly, like poor them. Like they must be having a really rough life if they have to take this out on me and go through all the trouble of making an entire MySpace for my teeth. I'm like,
my poor teeth.
Don't you have better things to do, honestly? Like then than all of that work.
Yeah, to carry around that much like hatred and anger for like nothing. Yeah. And I do think like, I think it's, the whole like killing with kindness. And I know, again, I feel like we sound like these old people, like, honey, it'll be fun. But like, honestly, like, that's the whole point.
To my wisdom.
Yeah, seriously. But that's kind of the whole point of this podcast, right? Like we're learning from other people. And I did have one of the girls that was involved in just like real, like being mean, like wanting to fight me, like cornering me at shows, like just like was very like, just negative and like part of that group. She, years later, we ran into each other and instantly I saw her and like my stomach kind of nodded because I was like,
crazy?
Yeah, like years later, like I was like, not obviously like I've grown, I'm proud of who I am, like all that stuff. But the little, I've said this, I have theories that like you're made up of like all these different versions of yourself.
Yes, 100%.
So like the little high school Taryne who was still trying to find herself and like would try to act super tough, but then go home and cry because the girls were being mean. You know what I mean? Like, like came up, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh, like,
Isn't
when
that
I saw her.
Weird? I had a similar experience. I lied earlier when I said I didn't see any of my high school friends again. I did see them once. So there was, this was a few years ago, and my like immediate close group that I used to hang out with at the lunch tables every single day was a really dope group of just like random people. It wasn't a clique of like jocks or cheerleaders or cool girls or whatever. It was just a bunch of random girls and guys that kind of found each other and would just have lunch there every day. And I felt very safe and comfortable with them, but I was very quiet. Because I didn't, I hadn't found my voice yet. I didn't know how I believed in things or what I stood for. Like I didn't know any of that, and I was surrounded by a lot of very like outgoing people who knew what they stood for. So I was a very quiet person. So that was me in high school, and then I hadn't seen these people for years. And out of nowhere, a group chat started, and they were like, "Hey, everyone's home for the holidays. Let's all go hiking." So I went and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so much fun. Like, I can't wait to talk to everyone.
Yeah.
I go there, you guys. And I don't think I said a word for the first like 15 minutes because I immediately reverted back to who I used to be with them because that's how I felt comfortable with them. Was I was just quiet all the time.
Yeah.
And then, luckily, like they were a very like loud, fun group. So they would bring me into the conversation a lot. But like I wasn't her anymore, but the second I got around them, I felt myself shut down and go back to high school, Ashley. And I remember walking like up this hill, being like, "What the hell, Ashley? Get it together. Just say something. Just say something, Ashley." Like, just I was so upset, and I just remember being like, "Man, this isn't who I am." But like, she's still in there, and it's so weird how fast it came back.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And like the thing is I think that's what's so exciting about even like making a new friend, because you have the chance to like really present who you feel you are instead of, I went to school with people I had known since like some of them since preschool. So it was like, there's no just like randomly reinventing. And so when I did go to college, it was freeing. And so back to when I ran into this girl, I remember I was in a jacuzzi and everyone got out and she came and I was like, she's gonna drown me. Like, I was so scared. I was like thinking in my head, and I'm like, you're tough. You took Krav Maga, girl. Like, you got this.
Scratch if you have to.
Yeah. But I'm looking around like, anyone stay. And so she gets in and was like, hey, can I talk to you? And then she basically just went on and like apologized. And it was so cute because she was like, I don't mean this offensive. She's like, but you have like so many like crow's feet like around your eyes. And she was like, because you have like the biggest smile I've ever seen. And like ever since I've known you or known of you, you've always been smiling, which is why you have like the cutest like wrinkles around your eyes. She's like, look at my face. Like, I don't have them. And she was like, and I was envious of you and like how happy and friendly you always were. And she's like, and I took that out on you, and I kind of just latched on to the people being mean to you. So we sat and talked. I'm sorry, I'm like dying, apparently. We sat and talked for like the longest time, and it was like the most freeing conversation.
I love that.
But it's exactly what you said of like realizing like she was just hurt and going through her own things too.
Yeah.
And now it's like awesome to see like she's like thriving. Like I got to meet her daughter, and like she's like doing great in life. And like it was cool to just have like a dope conversation is like, just us,
Yeah,
not
we're
like
past this. Yeah.
But I think it doesn't make it right. I want to make that clear.
No,
it does
doesn't.
not make it right to mistreat anybody. But it's like you wish you could just like in that moment be like, okay, dude, like what is going on? Like, why are you being such a jerk? And like just strip it away. But it's unfortunately not
what's
that
crazy.
easy.
That's what's frustrating.
Excuse me.
What's frustrating is it could have been her, but it could have been you too, to just like pull one or the other aside and just be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Where is this coming from? Did I do something? And then because she turns out she is a nice person, she probably would have been like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean that. And you would have been like, well, then why are you doing this? And she would have probably apologized.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like
or
the
even
takeaway
not
of
like
this,
she would have heard in that moment, like, oh yeah, like why am I doing this?
Yeah. Cause there's something, once you bring to light what's actually happening, 90% of the time, it's like, it looks so dumb.
Oh, it's so dumb.
It's so dumb. You made a MySpace for my teeth.
Yeah. And I'll give her, in case she ever listens to that, she wasn't the specific one who did that. I don't want to like put that on her.
Right. But yes, let's talk about, we'll pretend I'm talking to the specific person. Like that's so petty.
They used to call and leave voicemails where it was just like 5 of them and they would just take turns going, braces. Braces, like, and like no one's ever gonna love you. Like
everything in me is so upset right now.
And you know what was so sad, and this is one thing I will say.
My passive 9 person is like, I don't know who she is anymore. I'm so upset.
I know. But what I will say is I know in those moments, like I took everything and was like, I would cry about it. Like I cried all the time about it, but then I would go and pretend nothing happened because I was very much like, I don't want them to see that I'm upset.
Yeah. But you're a
I didn't share it with anyone.
Yeah.
And I love like what she says is like the date like sucked. And so she went with her friends and was like, I'm going to have a good time. And I think that's so important. And anyone who's listening to this, if you are feeling bullied or isolated or anything, you've got to like reach out and like grab onto someone because that's the whole point of relationship is like me and Ashley, we're so great and like individually as people, but the times where like I appreciate you like the most is when like I need that extra person to just like grab my hand and like help me up real quick, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's the whole point of relationship. So if you are feeling like someone's hurting you or mistreating you, stick up for yourself, but also like find someone that's strong enough that you can cling to them in that moment. Because going through it alone is not good. And I feel like I still have residual stuff that comes up where even you will be like, why didn't you tell me about that?
Yeah.
But it's like those tendencies to want to just like ball it up. So definitely like speak out and reach towards people. And I love that she's like, you know what? I'm going to use this stupid guy who made me feel dumb to like reach out to this podcast, tell everyone about how he made me feel dumb, but like, hi, see you in the Olympics. You know what I mean?
And
like,
we'll all just sit back, watch you thrive, and laugh
I'm your biggest
at
fan,
freaking
Alyssa.
Trevor over here.
Don't forget us small people.
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch.
Oh my gosh, but like, can we get invited to the Olympics if she goes?
My face.
Like, can we get invited?
Alyssa.
I'm going to need an email confirmation.
Alyssa. It doesn't have to be front row. It just like in the building,
my body.
in the area. We just want to watch you and take a picture maybe.
Yes.
That's all we want. Okay.
That's all we want.
All right. No pressure though, but please.
Anyways. We've been talking. I thought this was going to be like a short thing, but we talked a lot.
No,
but it's good. It's people need to like talk and be aware.
I think the solid takeaway from that is even though it's hard when you're the one being bullied, is just we just need to show kindness. We just need to be more kind to the people around us, even the rude ones, the ones that are being picked on. Like if you are able to stand up for them, like show them. We just need to show each other more kindness.
And you never know, you're being mean to someone and they could like blow up and be amazing and then you're dumb. Like Trevor, hi, you could be going to the Olympics with all of us too. You like how I included myself?
Yeah.
Trevor, you could be sitting by us at the Olympics, but
freaking
no,
idiot, Trevor.
You tripping, you playing, and now you're going to be like shoveling the dung. From the horse's
I like how we immediately
bumhole.
put him into this is your career, life career now.
Anywho, but
oh my God.
Thank you so much, Alyssa, for sending that in. You are killing it. Continue doing what you're doing, and we are so excited to like be your cheerleaders.
Can't wait to see you at the Olympics. Man, that story was like weirdly empowering.
Yeah.
I feel
and like a
very,
good check yourself.
Yeah.
Check yourself. We're all the same.
Also, Alyssa, a great movie script. I'm gonna just throw that out there.
And if you need someone to
if
elaborate,
there's a director listening, you better pick up on this. This is a great story.
Yeah, she's great.
Watch going to the Olympics.
I would love to play a role in it.
We were the podcast.
We play ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh my god, amazing! We'll get in a movie and go to the Olympics.
I just feel like we're really manifesting this right now, and we're gonna see this come to fruition.
Yep, I support it.
Within the next 10 years.
Good job.
Okay.
Gosh. Okay. Right. I'm so sorry. You have a long story, and I left you zero time.
We're gonna take a break, but I will hit you with the title, and then we'll get into this. This is titled "Are We Friends or Are We More?"
Ooh.
Dun dun dun. See you after the break.
So today we are partnering with Manscaped. It's a word I never thought I'd say on our podcast.
I can picture your dad right now.
Oh my gosh.
His eyes
I can hear
just
his
rolled
face.
fully back into his skull. He's like, what is this? Guys, on this podcast, we've talked about beauty and how comparing ourselves to other people on social media or TV or movies is just wrong and unhealthy. And we believe that there is no standard for beauty, that everyone has beauty, and everyone has beauty in different ways, and that includes guys.
No, it's so true. We talked about it literally last week, but guys have insecurities too, and guys want to feel handsome and beautiful too.
Just like girls.
I know. And I have brothers, and I'm telling you, like when they get like a fresh jacket, you know, and they like walk in, or like a haircut, or their beard kit just like kicked in real nice that day, they like love it. They feel it.
Oh, absolutely.
So they just redesigned their electric trimmer, the Lawnmower 3.0, and it has advanced skin safe technology, which is a must.
And all their products have a great manly scent. So why not help the guy in your life feel beautiful with a gift from Manscaped? Because what makes a person feel more beautiful than good personal hygiene? Right, Taryne? Right.
Oh, I got the giggles. If you guys would like to get in on this, you can get 20% off and free shipping with code ADVICE, that's ADVICE, at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off. Oh, you want to do that?
Yeah, that was my story. God, back off, Taryne. Again, guys, that is 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using code ADVICE. Okay.
I didn't realize that one was going to go like...
Well, we had a lot to talk about. I think it triggered something within me. For being honest.
It's like Mark said before, like we just use this podcast to like get over our own issues.
Yeah, we're like, oh, Alyssa, like that's such a great story, and then we start talking about our own baggage that we haven't dealt with.
If only you guys knew how many times me and Ash have gotten in the car and had like the most emotional breakdown.
Dude, it was probably like 3 weeks ago ish. I don't even remember the stories we were talking about, but me and Taryne, I'm not kidding, had a breakdown in the car.
Ugly cry.
But it was like a beautiful, I was letting things off my chest, she was letting things off her chest, and then we were like encouraging each other.
Yeah.
And like it was like we just really like we were in a good place, and it was because of you guys. I feel like this is actually very therapeutic for the both of us.
Oh, totally.
Because we're listening and like helping you guys through stuff, and then finding things within us that we're like, oh
wow, there it comes. Wait, I have a. So I don't know if you guys know, but like analogies or metaphors like come to my mind all the time.
Oh yeah, she's good at this.
And this is what, okay, so like one time I got in a car accident, and the next day I got in the car and I put my seatbelt on like I always do, and I go, and then I was like, ow, and I was aware I had this giant bruise on my arm. And I remember when I got in the crash, I was like, why do I have a bruise there? That's so weird. And it wasn't until I got in the car again and had the same incident happen, and then I felt the pain, that I realized that I wear my seatbelt on my shoulder like that.
Oh.
And so I think sometimes we're not even aware of something until it, like something happens that triggers it.
Yeah.
And then we try to go through the same exact motion, and all of a sudden we're like,
Taryne.
ow. That hurt.
Good.
I'm aware now that I've been putting this burden on myself or doing this certain thing. So
Like, you know, I
Take
thought
with
I was
that
over some
as you
high
want.
school stuff.
Mhm.
And then we start
Apparently
talking about
not.
high school and I'm just
Apparently
like,
not.
I hate high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyways.
God.
Sorry.
Wow.
I'm going to just.
That was really good.
I'm going to keep taking all of your
That was
time.
really good. This is Taryne's episode, you guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Tearing it up. Unsolicited advice.
Okay. Back to my story. So this one is long, so you know, get comfortable. As that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm just gonna go into it.
Okay.
Hello, Ashley and Taryne.
Hi.
First of all, I would like to say that I absolutely love your podcast. You can't imagine how much you guys help me. You make me laugh, you make me cry, you make me feel it all.
Aw.
Your podcast was definitely something I needed in my life. I would love to stay anonymous, but you can call me Emily. Also, sorry in advance, the story is a bit lengthy. Yes, it is, girl. So basically, I saw this in the emails. I saw the lengthy thing. I scrolled through and was like, oh, dang, this is way too long. I can't pick it. But then
It caught
as
you.
I was scrolling, I was like picking up on a few things. So then I was like, well, let me just read it. And then just like hook, line,
You got
and sinker,
hooked.
I was like,
oh my gosh,
well,
I'm excited.
I found mine. So
I'm
okay.
excited.
My story starts a year ago when I first texted my now guy best friend. It was the summer before my senior year when I kind of not so subtly slid into his DMs.
Heyo.
Taryne is so proud.
Heyo.
My intentions were pure back then, as I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was just simply intrigued by his personality and what I've seen online. I always overthink and overworry, so making friends right away rarely ever happened to me, and those friendships would always end horribly. Needless to say, I have had my fair share of trust issues. So here I was at 2 a.m. sliding into his DMs, and guess what? He replied right away.
Yeah, I did.
That's when our first up all night conversation happened. We texted for almost 7 hours straight. At first, I was looking at him as a new friend I gained, but the more we got to know each other, the more I realized how compatible we were. It's funny how 7 hours is all you really need to develop a crush.
That's what I always say. Like, if I could just get trapped in an elevator with a celebrity, they would fall in love with me. I'm pretty sure.
Genuinely.
I'm pretty sure.
That's all you need to show
But that's
off
the
your...
only scenario I can picture.
That's my one. So she's
Like,
just
they're
going
stuck.
into like, she's just going into like studios and just pulling the alarm on the elevator. Anyways.
Oh, good time.
I digress and we go back into the story. In those 7 hours, I got to know the basics about him, like his favorite things, hobbies, music, interests, and such. He mentioned details about his life and family that no one usually talks about in a first we meet kind of situation. Oddly enough, I did too. It was strange how comfortable I felt with him and how he felt the same way. Surprisingly, he failed to mention to me that he had, drum roll please,
A girlfriend.
A girlfriend.
What?
Dun, 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 dun. Well done. You did good.
Because they always have girlfriends.
You did good. Yeah. I found out about her through stalking him on Instagram and realized he tagged
so
her.
he didn't tell her. She found out.
He didn't mention it. She found
Ooh.
it. So yeah, she found out about her through stalking him on Instagram and realized he tagged her on all his recent pictures. I didn't feel the need to click on her profile and check her out. I didn't even notice her name because it didn't sound familiar. So when I asked him about her, he instantly gushed on how she's the love of his life, and I felt a little disappointed. However, it was cool. I was only looking for a friendship anyways.
Well, and that's good that he's not trying to be like, oh, I've had guys where it's like, oh yeah, well, you know,
She's nothing.
we're in a casual relationship. I can still do whatever I want. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
does homegirl know that?
Yeah. Anyways, as days pass and we text even more on all the socials, I started to feel that our connection was more than just a friendship, and it scared me a little bit. I have been in relationships before where my other half lost interest in me because another girl was interested in him. I never wanted to be that girl, so I tried to text him less, which good for you.
Yeah, good for you.
Yet I couldn't manage. So I literally decided to start my summer reading and studying ahead for my senior year just so I could be preoccupied and keep him on hold for a little while. The summer ended, but my feelings for him didn't end there. Actually, I felt like I was being sucked in the more I tried not to fall for him. I loved the way he made me feel. He was perfect in every way. He treated me right. He was extremely gentle. He always texted me goodnight, made sure I am feeling good every single day, and most importantly, he made me feel loved. Page turn. The last day of summer, we decided to make our own bucket list, sync up our schedules, and take the same classes, meet up every lunch hour and make plans for almost every single weekend, just as casual best friend stuff. Lol, right? So the first day I met him, it wasn't hard or awkward for us to talk and connect in real life like we did through our texts. Mind you, I never heard his voice before, as we strictly just texted occasionally. I would send him some voice notes, but he always responded with a text. So his voice caught me by surprise. You know that deep raspy that makes your knees go weak?
Oh, no.
Yep, that's how he sounded. However, aside from his godly raspy voice, I realized I wasn't really attracted to him as I thought I would be. That realization made me invest more into the friendship and letting it blossom. We were literally each other's halves. I knew every single detail about him, and he did mine. And he did me? I read that wrong.
But we get it.
It's fine. We're going to leave it.
Yeah, we get it.
So back to the girlfriend. She started taking classes a few months later. And as I've mentioned, I didn't really bother checking her out online. So you can imagine my face when he introduced me to my mortal enemy, ex-bully, and probably the only person I hate in the whole entire planet.
Seriously?
Yeah. I was horrified. And to make matters worse, she acted as if she had never met me before.
Girls are mean. That was so strategic.
She knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
Granted, the last time I had seen her was years ago, but I know for a fact that she remembered me. Have I mentioned that she was my ex-best friend before she stabbed me in the back with rumors and gossip and used me to make her way through the in crowd? Well, she was, and even though she came to my school for only a year before she switched back to her old school, it took me 2 full years to undo all of her doings. Even my own mother had hated her, which I kind of like. I love that.
Yeah.
Because if that was my baby girl.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Imagine me as a mom. I'm going to be psycho.
You're going to be ruthless.
Psycho.
I'm going to be right there next to you. Anyhow, I was torn between telling my best friend, the guy, about her or just giving her the benefit of the doubt. People do change, right? The answer is no. No, they don't. Once a snake, always a snake. Few more months passed and she kept trying to sabotage our friendship. But luckily, my BFF, the guy, knew how she just tends to be like this and always would stop her. That was until we had a senior gathering in the winter break. I saw them together for the first time and my heart felt like it had been ripped out and smashed into a million pieces. She publicly displayed her affection whenever I was around and gave me the stink eye whenever she hugged or touched him. It shouldn't have bothered me, but it did make me confused, very confused. I was always in touch with my feelings, but at that moment, I did not know what I was feeling. Was it jealousy? Or maybe it was just me knowing that my best friend deserved so much better than her. And was that person supposed to be me? Or was it just supposed to be another person? I didn't know. But I knew I had to breathe in some fresh air and figure it out, so I headed outside of the building. My thoughts were not clear, and I found myself even more confused. However, all thoughts left my mind when I saw my best friend, him, walking towards me. He seemed worried, so he sat down with me in silence for a while. I refrained from telling him what was actually bothering me, and instead, I asked him why he loved his girlfriend. He said, and I quote, "I don't think I love her. Maybe I thought I did, but honestly, I discovered love feels so different. I just get lonely sometimes, and she's there." And when I responded by telling him that I was there for him too, he replied, and I quote, "I don't deserve the love that you give me. This love should go to someone better. Plus, she's clearly a bad person, and I'm not exactly the best for using her, so I guess we do belong together after all. Bad people don't deserve good things, and I like it the way it is." We talked a bit more after that, and it was clear that he felt the same way about me, but didn't want to jeopardize our friendship. Anyhow, I continued my year normally, got myself a boyfriend, good for you, and got a nice sweet prom proposal. My best friend with his girlfriend were still going strong, even though he was clearly pissed that I got into a relationship with one of his best friends. It kind of caused a drift between us, but not a drastic one. In addition, I also had the occasional beef with my best friend's girlfriend because she loved, in all caps, to cause drama. At some point, it got out of hand, and here's the rundown of what happened. So my best friend's birthday comes up, and she decides to exclude me from all of the plans, even though we had promised to be at each other's birthdays. Then she doesn't invite me, and I find out through my boyfriend, who did get an invite. Snake. That was me, not her. Finally, I go to the party, only to find out that she had invited only her friends and none of mine and none of his. I was furious because my best friend deserved so much better, but I kept my mouth shut, and I tried to enjoy the lame gathering. However, when I tried to talk to him to wish him a happy birthday, he ignored me and kept walking right past me. By the end of the night, I felt extremely horrible, so I stepped outside for some fresh air. He then followed me outside, tackled me in a hug, and apologized for being rude. He then confessed, and I quote, "Sorry, she," his girlfriend, "asked me not to talk to you or I wouldn't be getting any tonight." And then that's when all hell broke loose. Well, not really. I'm a very calm person, you see. So I simply told him it's cool and excused myself to the washroom where I cried my heart out, but then I left with one of my guy friends without bidding any goodbyes. Afterwards, when I reached home, I sent him a long-ass message stating that I was done, and if he wanted to side with her, then he could forget about our friendship. I then proceeded to block him from all social medias and block his number from my contacts. He then texted me from his friend's number, and I blocked him. Then he texted me through my boyfriend's number, and he sent me a voice note, which he never sends, he only texts. And I listened to his voice as it cracked, and he apologized and explained that he had no idea that I hadn't been invited. He also said he realized how douchey he sounded and kept expressing his regret again and again. He also said that I would always be his priority and his girlfriends could come and go, but our friendship would never be affected. It was a very lengthy voice note that broke my heart because I never realized how much our friendship mattered to him. I also never heard him cry before, so I felt terrible to have caused him that pain. Even though he had it coming, she puts in. We made up almost instantly and took the rest of our conversation to our private chat. However, my boyfriend listens to the voice notes, and he saw my responses, so he saw something between us. Needless to say, we broke up right after prom, but on very good terms. However, my best friend, the guy, never broke it off with his girlfriend, and prom marked their 1-year anniversary. Prom was a very strange experience for me as I knew my boyfriend and I were breaking up, so I could be with who I wanted to be, yet that person made no effort to be with me. A couple months later, it was my birthday, and my best friend delivered the best hangout ever. We finished everything on our bucket list, and he showered me with gifts, took me on crazy-ass rides, and gathered all of my favorite people at my favorite restaurant. It was an epic day. Also, we were extremely flirty, but none of our friends made a single comment, yet everyone was giving us looks. I was happy and content. I knew for sure that he really cared about us. I went back home that night in hopes that he will break up with his girlfriend so we could finally be together. And he didn't. And here I am writing you this 6 months later. I signed off all of social media. He knows all of my passwords so he can tell if I opened any of them. I told him I needed a break from everything because at home things were going kind of bad, and they really were. But most importantly, I just needed a break from him. He will forever be my best friend, and I know no matter what, he will be there for me, but it's so hard knowing you belong to someone and you have no way of being with them. I understand him. I honestly do. Our friendship is so unique and special that we can't afford to ruin it. We both had bad experiences from dating and relationships, and we learned the hard way that relationships never last for people our age, especially now that we're off in college in completely different countries. Maybe that's why we both never openly admitted we had a thing for each other, even though we both knew it and everyone else knew it too. Bloody hell, even his own girlfriend knew it. But it's just better to have a beautiful, strong friendship than it is a relationship that will ultimately have to come to an end. I have no idea whether he's still with her or not. I'm not afraid of finding out, but I feel like I'm just not ready yet. I don't know if I actually want to be with him or not. Should I come back and confront him? Tell him everything I really feel in hopes that he feels the same way and says the same 3 words back? Because I know he's feeling what I'm feeling, yet I still don't want to be the one who initiates it. I want him to make the first move. I want him to text me or email me and tell me to come back and be with him because honestly, if he ever rejected me, I don't think I'll ever recover. Or should I just focus on myself and uni right now, hoping that the feeling will go away and could possibly come back as simply friends? I don't know. Perhaps we're meant to be together in the future once we're done working on ourselves separately. And I don't think I can ever date anyone else, and I honestly have no desire to. I would love to hear your thoughts on my not so epic roller coaster of a love life. Thank you so much for reading this. Best regards, Emily. I need a breath.
That was so long.
That was really long. I'm good. But poor Emily. I was going to ask you this. Have you ever had a best friend that shared feelings for you?
Well, I mean, I've had where like a guy was my best friend and then expressed feelings and it got kind of like weird. Honestly, the older I get, the more I think it's very, very near impossible to have a guy and girl friendship that is like purely just friendship and one person isn't even slightly interested. And so I think like a lot of times there are lines that get crossed and there are awkward things that come. And like, I get that it feels like, you know, she's like, I love this friendship. I want to protect it. He's my other half, things like that. But it's so clear how much she's like in love with this guy, even though like she tries not to admit it. And I think like if you're in a relationship, you should not be having this other girl that fulfills all your emotional needs. Like where he's talking to her and saying goodnight to her every night and things like that. So I don't think he's in the right. And unfortunately, like I've literally been her before. Like for 5 years, this guy dragged me around saying like everything, every time I got ready to like be like, I'm done. All of a sudden it would be like, but I love you, or throw out like something that made me like, oh no, like he really cares about me, so I'm going to stick around.
Yeah.
And I just think like we all like have like, obviously you guys like fulfill a need for each other. And I don't think it's right for him to like give you this like inkling of hope, but like he just continue to date someone. So I think he knows how you feel, if I'm going to be honest. Like even the fact that like when you go out and you're upset, he goes to check on you. Like it's clear that he knows what's going on. And I don't think he's treating you in the way that you deserve. And so I'm glad that you've created space.
Yeah.
And I think you should. And I'm a firm believer in like, if stuff's meant to happen, it will. And I don't think you need to keep going out of your way to try to make it happen, because in all honesty, like it's not appropriate the way that he's being with you if he's in a relationship.
Right. 100%.
Like it's just not.
If I was the girlfriend.
Oh, I'd come after you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and it sucks because you're not in a relationship. So like you didn't like need to not talk to him and whatever. Besides, like obviously you have to be careful of like girl code and stuff like that.
Right.
But like he's the one who's in a committed relationship, but he's dragged you into this.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I think that you deserve a lot more than that. And I know it's heartbreaking. And I'm honestly, I can completely relate to you and I know that feeling. But I do think it's better for you to move on. And if you were to be with him, like another question you have to ask yourself is like, could you trust him? Because I mean, how many years has this been going on where you guys are basically acting as if you like are in a relationship, but you're not? And like, I would always be thinking like, who are you DMing? Like, who are you texting?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's a really complicated dynamic, I feel like she's in.
Yeah. It's a lot. And it's crazy. I've never gone through this kind of experience where I was like best friends with someone and didn't want to risk that. But I know so many people who have been through such a similar experience. I guarantee hundreds of people right now are listening to this and are being like, wow,
Yeah.
I've been through the exact same thing. So I just said that to hopefully make you feel better, knowing that you're not alone. People have gone through this in the past. I think the answer, and I very much agree with Taryne, for me, just being like in an outside perspective and not having gone through something like this before, is kind of going back to what our first letter said. You guys you're in college right now, which is, again, like that was high school. It's such a small little tidbit of your life. You're going into college right now separately, which I think is fantastic. I love that you guys are not only in separate colleges, but are in two different countries.
Yeah.
Emily, like this is the time for you to really like find yourself, find what you believe in, what you stand for, like your purpose in life. Like college is such a great period of time to discover you.
Yeah.
And like everything that's important to you.
Yeah.
And that might include having him as a friend, that might not. But I think you guys should be long distance friends, just friends for the foreseeable future. He has a lot of learning and growing to do as well, obviously.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give you like false hope. But I do think that you guys could end up together in the future. If it's meant to be, and you guys go and you live your lives and you still wind up like finding each other and still feeling this way, then maybe you're supposed to be together.
Yeah.
But I think at least for the next foreseeable future, all of college, you should focus on you.
Well, because I mean, so I did have in high school, like I had a guy best friend.
Yeah.
And like, I really I would always say like, I wanted him to be like my man of honor. We were so close. When I started dating someone though, that friendship had to change because ultimately I needed to be giving like my emotions and my attention to the person that I'm like committed to. So like with my guy friend, like I had to be like more intentional of like bringing my boyfriend to, and like the three of us would hang out because it was really important to me for them to know each other, and like I would explain to him like, hey, like I can't just like come to your house at 11 o'clock and lay in bed with you and watch a movie. Like,
right,
it's just not, I have to, now I care about this person's feelings and like that comes first. So like our friendship has to change. And so I think like it's okay. Like if I'm married, I know I'm still going to have guy friends, but that person is not going to be the one I'm talking to late into the night. Like it's going to be the person that I'm with. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think there's just something in the fact that like your boyfriend saw this stuff and was like, I can't do this. Like it's just, there's way more there than I think a friendship should have. And so I think that's why it's just going to keep creating complications for you. And so I think, like you said, it's good for her to separate and just be like, okay, what's it like to just be in a normal relationship? Like there's no girlfriend on the side. There's no secret unspoken feelings. Like it's just like, this is how I feel. This is how you feel. Let's just be like normal, Yeah,
I think taking that time for yourself is really going to help you kind of like reprioritize yourself. And hopefully the same thing for him.
Yeah.
Honestly, if he's been really dependent on your friendship for a long time, then maybe you not being there for a while is going to help him realize he's got some stuff to figure out too. But yeah, I think this is a good time for you to really focus in on yourself, and I think both of you guys can just, you're gonna grow so much in these next few years that you might not even have feelings for him in the end.
Oh no,
like this
girl,
is
you
not,
can thrive on it. Like if anyone's missing out in this scenario, like it's him. Like it's gonna be his loss. Like you've stuck by his side when you didn't need to and endured like so much while he's still, that's the thing about, it bothers me because they have all this stuff, but then at the end of the day, she goes home and is by herself and is sad and confused. Yeah. And he goes off with his girlfriend that he's like, oh, we're bad people. Bad people belong together, which is stupid. Yeah. So it's like, it's not fair. And I think right now she might have like a veil kind of over her eyes. Yeah. And I think like you need to realize like you literally deserve so much more.
Yeah. I can't wait for her to find a guy and start this new relationship that's like healthy, that's all about her, where she gets the emotional like connection that she has with this other guy, with a guy that she's dating, maybe from school, maybe just from like that area, but there's so many other guys out there that can treat you right. So I feel like whether there's something there with your best friend or not, like it doesn't matter right now. He's not handling it right. So whether you guys are going to end up together in the future or not, right now you're not, because he's got some stuff to figure out, and you can't let him hold you back like that, because otherwise you're just going to be pining after this guy who's constantly with another girl.
And like you're hitting that, I feel like I right around like that age, like in college and after, where I was like, okay, like I eventually want to get married. I kind of had this shift where I started really investing in the friendships I knew would last. So like I said, I have tons of guy friends, but my guy friends aren't the ones that I was putting like all of my like what was going on inside of me and my heart and like going to them when I needed something and creating these habits where we're like always together. I was investing like my heart and my time into my girl friendships that I knew would last throughout my entire life, even when I'm married. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you just got to find, and everybody has different opinions, and I respect everybody's opinion. You got to do what works for you.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be rare that you find a guy that's like, oh, it's totally cool. Like, I'll be in the room while you guys are like sending voice memos and chatting to each other. And you're trying to convince him to break up with his girlfriend, and you're obviously in love with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I think like he's holding you back. And so I think you should take this time. Do you, and like Ash said, and I totally believe too, if it's meant to come around, it totally will.
It's like that movie Serendipity.
Yeah.
It's an old one, but if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. It's a good one.
Ooh, this was a doozy, guys. It was a long one, but good stuff.
Thank you both of you guys for writing in and being vulnerable with us and sharing your stories. Hopefully we were helpful.
Yeah, I think we were.
I thought we did a great job this time. You know, go us. Yeah,
I have a dad joke.
Oh,
this is from Instagram with Katie Kerr.
Katie Kerr.
Katie Kerr.
Katie Kerr.
Why was the baby ant confused?
Why was the baby ant confused?
I'm having deja vu. Did I say this one already?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know. Tell me.
Because all his uncles were ants.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a clever one. Good job, Katie Kerr.
Katie Kerr.
Katie Kerr. That sounds like a stage name.
Yeah, Katie Kerr.
Katie Kerr. That's a cool name.
Katie Kerr. Spinning.
Spinning.
I don't know.
Stop.
Anyways, you guys, thanks for sending your stories in. All this to say, the message you walk away from is high school is the worst.
High school sucks,
and it
but
gets
you'll get through
so
it.
much better. We love you guys. Thank you for being vulnerable. Make sure you hit us up on all the socials. Mm-hmm. We have YouTube channel. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Rate, review,
all the
like,
things.
share, subscribe.
Tell everyone about us.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And we'll talk to you guys later.
That's it. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.